Hey, I'm Nick, and on this channel I've talked about my tips for staying awake and not being tired in the morning, especially for people who follow a morning routine like mine, which consists of waking up early and trying to get a lot of things done. And although I still support what I was saying before, I have encountered another problem throughout my mornings that is related to being tired as well. However, this has more to do with the fact that I usually spend my mornings on Udemy trying to teach myself new stuff, like I've been talking about a lot on this channel. So that's a bit too much babbling on about it, but the problem that I find is that even though I'm awake in the morning, I get my morning routine done, I'm able to go for a walk, have my breakfast, do all of that, get through it. The time I sit down and try to get work done, I basically fall asleep at my desk. Now, of course, the biggest reason as to why this happens is that I'll admit watching Udemy is not the most entertaining thing to do first thing in the morning. And as a byproduct of that, low engagement being mixed with being tired can make it very easy to fall asleep at the desk. So if you experience this as well, this is a great video for you because I'll be detailing how I've been able to combat this issue. So to start off, like I mentioned just before, if you're not engaged with something and tired, you'll find yourself basically falling asleep. And the simple fix for this is to stay engaged with what you're watching. But when you're tired, you'll probably make up some excuses that, oh, I'm watching and I'm engaging with it. But what I've found is that there's really only two ways of engaging with something and learning from something. And those two ways are to, one, if you're learning how to use something, especially some kind of app or software, that you're not just watching the person show you how to do it, but you're following them. Now, even though this can create some bad habits of just copying what someone else is doing, properly understanding why you're doing what you're doing, and of course doing that in the first place, actually keeps you engaged with the content and not falling asleep. Now, the second way of being engaged with something is when you're not able to immediately do something with what you've just learned or implemented. And I would say it's to take notes on it. But this brings up another excuse that I've faced, and that is if you're thinking of what to take notes on and you're watching it, when you're tired, you're gonna make up excuses where you don't need to take notes on this. And I'd say quite simply, fight those excuses and just take notes on whatever you need to remember whenever you can't immediately implement and get that practice in from watching the video. So that's talking about the engagement side of staying awake and getting the stuff done. But to fight the actual fact of being tired a bit more, it can still be hard to stay engaged. And that's where, as a last resort, the tactic that I would use is to simply stand up and go for a walk, whether that's something around your neighborhood or go for a walk to get a drink of water. But when you're sitting still and being complacent, that is awfully similar to sitting in your bed and having a rest. So what this does is something that I've talked about before, and that is if you're doing an action that requires you to actually be awake, then you can't actually fall asleep. Or else, let's say if you did fall asleep going for a walk when you're tired, then you would fall flat on the ground. So yeah, that's about it today. Just quickly on how to stay awake when you're trying to slog through maybe a lecture online, an online course, maybe it's not that entertaining, and to just stay engaged with it, and every now and then do get up and do something that requires a little bit of activity. But aside from that, that's it for today. Here's some more videos of the channel if you want to check them out. But until then, I'll see you later.